Welcome back to the Midnight Crypt. If you enjoy this content, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have a story you'd like to submit, please email themidnightcrypt@gmail.com. I was a 25-year-old female at the time of this incident. It was 2018, and I lived with my boyfriend in our hometown. It was a small city that was relatively poor and had some drug problems as there wasn't much else to do. My boyfriend, who is now my husband, was at his friend's house. It was a Saturday night, and he said he'd be home around 9. He was about 2 towns over, which was a 20-minute drive. At the time, we lived in a duplex, which was split upstairs and downstairs. It used to be a big house, but got converted into a duplex. My cousin actually rented the downstairs apartment, and she was kind of loud. I knew when she was and wasn't home. That night, she wasn't home. The way our street was situated, the backs of the houses on the street and the parallel street all faced a narrow alley, and the driveways were, mostly, only accessible this way. The downstairs unit had a front porch with a door and another side door. Our upstairs unit had the back door, and it was at the top of an outside set of wooden stairs. I was home alone watching TV. I heard someone coming up the stairs and a knock on the door. It was 8:30. It wouldn't be that unusual for my boyfriend to come home early. Maybe they got bored playing video games, or he just felt like leaving. I would usually unlock the door for him when he came home, instead of letting him use the keys because it was dark and could be a hassle. So I got up and opened the door to someone who was not my boyfriend. It was a pretty thin man wearing 2 big jeans and a hoodie. He had maybe 4 teeth and was teetering back and forth. I was so shocked, considering I was positive it was my boyfriend coming home. The guy at the door asked me, "Can I use your phone?" Behind him, down the stairs and in the alley, I looked and saw a big SUV, a Ford Explorer type of vehicle, idling, with someone in the driver's seat. I panicked and just said, "Yeah, hold on." I then shut and locked the door. I think I was more shocked that it was a stranger at my door and not my boyfriend than anything else. I hid so he couldn't see me through the front door window and was frozen. Something was just telling me that this was not okay. After a few minutes of silence, I finally heard him start walking down the stairs. I went back over to the door and saw the car drive away down the alley. I called my boyfriend and told him, and he said he'd leave, but like I said before, it was about a 20-minute drive. After he got home, I calmed down and honestly felt silly. Why would I not just let him use my phone? Was it really that weird? But then I thought about it more over the next few days. It was 2018. This guy, and whoever was driving, between the two of them, neither one of them had a phone, and it wasn't like they were having car trouble, so what would they want a stranger's phone for? They also went down an alley and to the back side of a house, and up some stairs, to ask for a phone. They didn't go to my cousin's because I would have heard it. They didn't go any other house either. I saw them leave the street entirely. Also, why go to a house to ask for a phone when there was no car in the driveway? And of course, our battery-powered security camera was dead at the time. I genuinely am not sure what they wanted, but judging by the guy in the car and the look on the guy's face standing in my doorway, I knew it was probably nefarious. I was a 20-year-old college student, and my friend and I were living and working near her college for the summer. A guy she worked with invited us to a party at his place. The 2 of us went, along with 3 other friends. We turned out to be the only females at the party. There were at least twice as many guys there. After drinking and playing a few drinking games, people started to leave. A large group of guys was invited to another party and left to go there. Then, our 3 other friends decided to go too. It was down to the host, my roommate, and 2 other guys. For some reason, we decided to go to this other party. I had a few drinks, but not enough that I was seriously impaired. My roommate, though, was pretty tipsy. She was walking with her friend from work and the other 2 guys who had been talking to me at the party, and they were walking close to me and still talking to me. At one point, my friend and her coworker were walking far enough from us to be out of earshot. The 2 guys told me they knew of a shortcut and tried to get me to follow them down a dark alley. I told them I wanted to stick with the group. They tried to persist for a few minutes, but I was adamant that I not be separated from my roommate. Somehow, mysteriously, we never found that party. The details are still a bit fuzzy, but I think they couldn't find the exact location. This was the mid-1990s, so no one had a cell phone to call or text or confirm a location. My roommate told her coworker she wanted to walk around to find another party because she wasn't ready to go home yet. There were lots of people out, and often you would run into someone who would invite you somewhere. I told her I just wanted to go home. I was desperate to get away from those guys. My roommate was feeling good and just not having it. The two guys started to whisper to one another, but I was able to hear some of what they were saying. One said, "No, didn't you hear what she said, though? They live with 4 guys." That was true. We had 4 male roommates, which at some point had come up in conversation earlier. This immediately set off more alarm bells. I continued to argue with my friend, and eventually she realized we weren't going to find another party. The 2 creepy guys left, and her coworker walked us home. On the way home, I told them I had wanted to leave because those guys were scaring me, and why. If this were to happen now, I would call those guys out in front of everyone and make a scene.